Hello, today we're going to talk about dividing fractions and mixed numbers. And the first thing that I want to introduce you to is our vocabulary word, the reciprocal. Now, the reciprocal is when you have two fractions that when you multiply together, they're going to produce a 1. And what does that mean? What does that look like? Well, if you were to take 3/4 and make a reciprocal or flip it, see how it turns upside down? They just switch places. Then the 4s would become 1s, the 3s would become 1s, and the answer would be 1. So really, in simplest form, to make a reciprocal, all you have to do is take your number and literally have them switch places. It's that simple. Now, real quick, just so you know, that when you divide by 2, it's the same thing as multiplying by 1 because they are reciprocals of one another. So I'm going to introduce you to a new term as well. We're going to call it KISS, keep it, switch, switch, that will help us to divide these fractions. Now, the first fraction that we're going to keep, leave it alone, don't do anything with it. Then we're going to switch from division to multiplication, and then we're going to switch the second number to its reciprocal. So if you look at the example of our first problem here, you have 2/5, which we kept it the same. We went from division to multiplication, and then we took 1/4 and turned it into 4/1. This is where we did our reciprocal. All right, so let's look at some practice problems. Okay, now for each of these division problems, please remember you're going to have to make changes because you cannot divide problems. We have to flip them so that we can multiply. So keeping our first fraction the same, changing it to multiplication, and then 10/9. And remember how in multiplication we were talking about we could just go? Well, we can do it here as well because we can divide 10 by 5, 5 by 5, so that's 2 and 1. And we can do the 3s. So that's 1 and 3. So now multiply straight across because now you have a multiplication problem. So that's going to be 2/3. All right, let's look at our next example. So keeping it, switch to multiplication, switch to the reciprocal. Now this particular one we can't disco, so we're just going to multiply. So that's 22/21, excuse me. And that's going to be 1 and 1/21. So again, oops, sorry, you still might have to simplify it. Now remember how we talked about with multiplication, you had to put a 1 underneath of it? Well, that has not changed. So 8/1 times 2/1, so that's 16/1 or 16. Again, put a 1 underneath there. So kiss it, keep it, switch, switch. And then when you multiply that, that's 11/72. Yeah, it can look like that. Very good. Now remember when we talked about dividing mixed numbers or multiplying mixed numbers, we said you cannot multiply with a mixed number. Well, guess what? It works the same for division. You cannot divide with a mixed number. So we're going to have to make them in proper fractions. So these we're going to have to do a little bit more work on. So that's going to be 33/8 times 7/4. Oops, not times, divide by because we haven't kissed it yet. Now, how did you get those improper fractions? Well, remember, denominator times the whole number, so that's 32, plus 1 is 33. That's where 33 came from. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 more is 7. Now we can kiss it. So we're going to divide both of these by 4. So that 4 becomes a 1, 8 becomes a 2, and you have 33 over 14. So do your little minis. That's 2 and 5/14. All right, let's look at our second example. So again, make them an improper fraction. So 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 more is 17/5. Divided by 10 times 2 is 20, times 7 is 27/10. Now we can kiss it. So remember, keep it, switch to multiplication, switch to the reciprocal. Can we just go? Yep, we can divide these two numbers by 5. So 5 will become a 1, 10 will become a 2. So now you have 34 over 27. So simplify. So that's 1 and 7/27. Example number 3. Make them improper fractions. So 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7/4. Divide by 14 over 1. Yes, got to make him a, excuse me, improper fraction. So keep it, switch, switch. Can you just go? Sure, you can divide 7 and 14 both by 7. So that's going to become a 1. He's going to become a 2. So 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 2 is 8. 1/8. And our last example, again, make them improper fractions. So 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 more is 16. So 16/5 divided by, and then 9 times 1 is 9, plus 7 is 16. So you have 16/9. So what are we going to do? We got to kiss it now, correct? So bring down that first fraction, switch to multiplication, and switch to the reciprocal. Now, because you have those two numbers that are the same, those 16s, you know what we can do? Just mark through them and make them 1s. So that's 9/5 or 1 4/5. And that's multiplying fractions and mixed numbers. Bye.